Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today into Metabolical, the lure and the lies of processed food, nutrition, and modern medicine.
Oh, yeah, this one's going to be good.
It's by Robert Lustig, and it's all about how the things we eat really impact our bodies.
Right. And how that all ties into modern medicine,
And a
too.
lot more than just counting calories like we always hear about.
Oh, definitely. Lustig really digs into how the rise of chronic diseases is connected to what we eat.
Exactly like obesity.
Right. And type 2
I mean,
diabetes,
heart disease.
all that stuff. And Lustig's main argument is that it's all rooted in a metabolism that's kind of been messed up by processed foods.
Especially with all the sugar that's added.
Yeah, he really focuses on that.
It's a little scary, isn't it? I mean, we know candy and stuff isn't exactly health food,
Right.
but Lustig says it goes way beyond empty calories. It's like he compares how our bodies deal with fructose to how we process alcohol.
Whoa.
It goes straight to the liver,
Oh, wow.
and that can lead to some serious stuff.
Yeah, like what?
Like fatty liver disease.
Oh, gosh, I see.
And that's just one part of it.
Yeah.
What I think is so interesting is that Lustig doesn't just stop at calories in, calories out.
Right.
He goes deeper into how different calories interact with our hormones
Yeah.
and our whole metabolic process.
Fascinating stuff.
It's not just about how much you eat, but what you eat
Right.
and how all of that impacts your own metabolism.
It's all connected.
It's not just about willpower and skipping dessert. It's about a whole bunch of biological stuff happening based on what we eat.
Exactly.
And Lustig doesn't hold back when it comes to the food industry's role in all this.
Oh, yeah. He calls them out.
He points to all the marketing for sugary cereals and fast food.
All those tempting ads.
Exactly. And he says they're a big part of this metabolic crisis.
Can see that.
They're pushing all this processed, sugary stuff that can really mess up our systems.
It's hard to make healthy choices with all that around.
Especially with how it affects our brains and hormones.
Right.
So where does insulin resistance fit into this?
Yeah, that's a big one.
It's a key concept in the book, but it can be a little hard to understand.
Okay, so it's basically like a communication breakdown
Okay.
between your cells and insulin.
Got it.
Insulin is a hormone,
Yeah.
and its job is to help your cells absorb glucose from your blood, so you can use it for energy or store it.
Okay.
But when you're always eating sugar and refined carbs, your cells become kind of resistant to insulin.
So what happens when that communication breaks down?
Well, basically the glucose builds up in your blood.
Oh, no.
And over time, that can damage your blood vessels
Thanks.
and increase your risk for all sorts of problems.
Like what kinds of problems?
Heart disease, vision problems, all kinds of things.
Wow.
It also makes it harder to manage your weight.
And you get tired all the time.
Exactly.
It's not just that these foods are bad in a general way.
Right.
They're actually stopping our bodies from working, right?
At the cellular level.
And Lustig doesn't stop there. He also talks about chronic inflammation.
Yeah. That's another important piece.
So tell me about that.
When we eat lots of processed food, it triggers inflammation everywhere.
Inflammation is never good.
And this is ongoing.
So what happened?
It's connected to so many problems.
What, like?
Heart disease, cancer, even Alzheimer's,
Oh, wow.
even depression.
It's like these foods are setting off this chain reaction of bad stuff.
Pretty much.
It's a little depressing, but Lustig doesn't just leave us with all that.
No,
He gives us solutions too, right?
he does.
Metabolical isn't just a warning.
Right.
It's like a guide to getting your metabolic health back.
Exactly.
Lustig believes we can change things by making good choices about our food.
And our lifestyle.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
It's not about being stuck with our genes or environment. It's about taking control.
I like that.
But before we get to those solutions,
Okay.
let's look at another thing Lustig talks about,
Okay.
the gut microbiome.
It's the gut.
People don't always think about that.
Yeah, but it's super important.
It's all the bacteria in our gut,
Trillions of them,
and they play a huge role in our health.
including our metabolism,
They help us digest food
and regulate our immune system.
and even make vitamins.
That's amazing.
So it's like this whole world inside us.
Right.
And it's affecting our energy and everything. So how do different foods affect these gut bacteria?
That's a great question.
What helps them and what hurts them?
Well, let's see. It's kind of like, think of your gut as a garden.
Okay, garden.
And when you eat processed foods with all that sugar and artificial stuff, it's like you're planting weeds.
Oh, so it messes up the balance?
Yeah, it disrupts the good bacteria and the bad bacteria start taking over.
That doesn't sound good.
It's called dysbiosis,
Dysbiosis.
and that leads to inflammation and a bunch of metabolic problems.
So how do we get a healthy gut garden then?
Well, first, you got to get rid of the junk food.
No more sugary snacks?
Right. Focus on whole foods.
Like what kinds of things?
Fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fat.
Like what our ancestors used to eat.
Exactly, before all the processed stuff came along.
Makes sense. Are there specific foods that are really good for our gut?
Lustig's a big fan of fiber.
Fiber?
It acts like a prebiotic.
A what?
It basically feeds the good bacteria.
Oh, so it's like fertilizer for our gut garden.
Exactly. Load up on fruits and veggies and whole grains.
Got it. What about fermented foods?
Oh, yeah, those are great.
Like yogurt and stuff?
Yeah, yogurt, sauerkraut, kimchi, all those have tons of probiotics.
Probiotic.
Those are the good bacteria.
Oh, I see.
It's like sending reinforcements to your gut.
To fight the bad bacteria.
Exactly. They help bring things back into balance.
So we actually have a lot of control over our gut health.
We do. It's more than people think.
What we eat makes a huge difference.
It really does.
Okay, so no processed food, lots of whole foods, fiber, and fermented foods.
That's a good start.
What about sugar? How do we cut back on all that?
That's the tricky part. Sugar's everywhere.
It really is.
But Lustig has some ideas. The first thing is to read labels carefully.
Oh, yeah, I've been trying to do that.
You'd be surprised how much sugar is hiding in things.
It's crazy. I found sugar in salad dressing the other day.
Really?
I know, I couldn't believe it.
It's sneaky.
Hmm.
But once you start paying attention,
Uh-huh.
you can make better choices.
So knowledge is power.
It is any other strategies.
Lustig recommend.
He says to cut back on sugar gradually.
So not just quit cold turkey.
Right, retrain your taste buds.
To like natural sweetness.
Yeah, from fruits and berries.
Even sweet potatoes.
Exactly.
It's about changing how we think about sugar.
Not seeing it as the enemy.
But what about those of us with a sweet tooth?
Ah, yes, the cravings.
Any tips for that?
Lustig says to find healthy ways to satisfy those cravings.
Instead of candy bars.
Right. Try some fruit or dates.
Or dark chocolate.
Yeah, with high cacao content.
Those are good ideas.
Yep.
Like swaps can make a big difference.
They can.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about diet. What about other things that affect our metabolism?
Like what?
Lustig talks about exercise and stress.
Right? He does. And those are both connected to your metabolism.
Okay, I can see how exercise would be.
Yeah.
But stress, how does that affect things?
Well, when you exercise,
Mm-hmm.
even just a brisk walk, it helps your insulin sensitivity.
What does that mean?
It means your cells respond better to insulin,
Got it.
so your blood sugar stays balanced.
So exercise helps our cells and insulin communicate better.
Like a relationship counselor.
Exactly. And exercise helps with stress, too.
It does.
But how does stress mess with our metabolism?
It all comes down to cortisol.
Cortisol.
That's a hormone your body releases when you're stressed.
Okay.
It's supposed to be for short-term stress,
Mm-hmm.
but when it's high all the time,
Like with chronic stress.
right, it messes up your metabolism.
In what way?
You store more belly fat,
Oh, no.
you become insulin resistant,
Uh-oh.
and you crave sugary fatty foods.
So stress is bad for our minds and our bodies.
It is. That's why Lustig says we need to find healthy ways to manage stress.
Like exercise?
Exercise, meditation, spending time in nature.
Whatever works for you.
Exactly. Find what helps you relax and do it regularly.
It's amazing how everything is connected.
It is.
Diet, exercise, stress, gut health.
It's all part of the same puzzle.
And Lustig goes even further. He talks about environmental toxins.
Oh, yeah, those can have a big impact, too.
Like endocrine disruptors?
You got it.
Remind me what those are?
They're chemicals in plastics and pesticides.
And even personal care products.
Right, they mess with our hormones.
Which messes with our metabolism.
Uh-huh.
It can be overwhelming thinking about all these things.
It can be.
But Lustig's book is actually hopeful.
It is.
It's not about feeling helpless.
Right.
It's about knowing we have choices.
And taking action.
And that brings us to one of the most important takeaways.
What's that?
That food can be our medicine or our poison.
That's powerful.
It really is. It makes you think about what you're eating.
It does.
And it's not just what we eat.
Wow.
It's our whole lifestyle.
In our environment.
It's a whole life approach to health.
Exactly.
It's about creating a lifestyle that really nourishes us.
On every level.
And that sets us up for a long, healthy life.
That's the goal.
But before we get into Lustig's specific recommendations,
Right.
let's take a minute to think about everything we've learned so far.
Sound good.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about how modern food and medicine can really mess with our metabolic health.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
From processed foods and sugar to the gut microbiome and even those environmental toxins.
It's clear that this whole metabolic health thing is pretty complicated.
It's definitely not as easy as eat less, move more, like we used to think.
Lustig makes a good point that it's all about how our diet and lifestyle and environment all work together.
And even our gut bacteria.
It's all connected.
And the good news is we can actually do something about it.
Right.
Lustig's book is like a wake-up call, but it also gives us hope. It's like a roadmap to getting our metabolic health back and avoiding chronic diseases.
And he doesn't make it sound like we have to suffer to be healthy.
Exactly. It's not about crazy diets or anything.
It's about making changes that you can actually stick with.
Changes that make you feel good.
So where do we start?
What are some practical things we can do?
Well, Lustig has a 7-step plan.
A 7-step plan.
And it all starts with what he calls the 4 C's.
The 4 C's? That sounds kind of mysterious.
It's not that complicated.
Yeah.
They're control, choice, cook, and connect.
Okay, I can remember that. Control, choice, cook, and connect.
Let's break them down.
Okay, let's start with control. What does that mean?
Control is all about taking charge of your food environment.
So like reading labels and stuff?
Yeah, read labels, be mindful of portions, and really think about what you're putting in your body.
So basically, don't let those tempting ads control your choices?
Exactly. You're in charge here.
Okay, makes sense. What about choice?
Choice is about choosing real whole foods as much as possible.
So like not processed stuff.
Right? No added sugars, artificial ingredients, unhealthy fats, all that stuff.
It's about choosing foods that actually nourish your body.
Yeah, load up on those fruits and veggies and lean proteins and healthy fats.
And whole grains.
Exactly.
I can get behind that. What about cook?
Cook is pretty straightforward. It means cooking more meals at home.
I like to cook.
It's a good way to know exactly what's going into your food.
And you can avoid all the hidden stuff in processed foods.
Plus, it can be really fun.
And relaxing.
Exactly. And the last C is connect.
Connect. What does that mean?
Connect is about finding people who support your healthy lifestyle.
Oh, like a support group.
Yeah, or just friends and family who are on the same page.
So you can encourage each other.
Exactly. It's easier to make changes when you have people to help you along the way.
So those are the 4 C's: control, choice, cook, and connect.
Now on to the other 3 steps.
Okay, what are they?
Next up is community.
Community.
Lustig says it's important to support policies that make it easier to be healthy,
So like what kinds of things?
like supporting local farmers markets,
Okay.
or advocating for healthier school lunches,
Yeah, like that.
or even pushing for rules that limit junk food marketing to kids.
That's a good idea. Our individual choices matter,
They do.
but we also need to change the whole system.
Exactly. It's about making healthy choices, the easy choices.
Okay, what's the next step?
That would be corporations.
Corporations.
Lustig says food companies need to step up.
And take responsibility for what they're selling.
Right. They need to start making and marketing healthier options.
It's about demanding better choices for everyone.
Exactly. Consumers have power.
And the final step?
Consciousness.
Consciousness.
This is about becoming aware of our own metabolic health.
So paying attention to how our bodies feel.
Right. And advocating for better education and healthcare.
That gets to the root of these problems.
Exactly. It's about taking control of our health and being informed.
It's empowering to know we can make a difference.
It is. Lustig's book is really inspiring.
It's not just about food and disease.
Right.
It's a vision for a healthier future for everyone.
And it starts with each of us making conscious choices.
Lustig has this great quote. He says, "We are not victims of our genes. We are the captains of our own ship."
I love it. It's so true.
It's a reminder that we have the power to choose health.
To create a better future for ourselves and for generations to come.
So as you learn more about food and health,
Uh-huh.
remember that you have the power to make change.
It all starts with awareness.
We encourage everyone to check out Metabolical for themselves
It's a really eye-opening book.
and discover the amazing power you have to transform your health and your life.
It's a journey worth taking.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and until next time,
Stay curious.
and keep learning.
Thanks for tuning into Chapter 2, where we break down the best books to fuel your growth and learning. If this book caught your interest, check out the links in the description to get the audiobook at no cost. Don't miss out, and support our channel while you dive deeper into these life-changing reads. See you in the next episode.